before we even started the crypto side of the business, we produced a film called Burden of Guilt. And Burden of Guilt was literally done on $15,000. We had no intention of it being, a media darling. Like, it literally is just meant to show you that we can make a movie with no low budget and sell it. So we took that film and we sold it for 300,000
Wow.
and
And then what was the budget on it?
15,000.
Woo! So 20x the budget. Man, that's insanity. That's just wild. I wish I could do stuff like that on a daily
But
basis.
it is
But
possible.
take that and elevate it, right? Take that to scale and say, okay, our budget isn't 15,000. Now it's 1.5 million, right? And we sold this for 30 million, right? The rights to it or something like that. That's where you get into the larger sums of money, which with these NFTs and the funding that you're trying to raise in the couple of $1 million range, that gives you a pretty big budget to go out and get into those upper echelons, which is what you were talking about previously in this video, where you could have one of those theatrical type ones that could bring a really good return to not only your company and yourself, giving you even further proof of concept, but also to the people that helped fund it along the way. And I don't see a lot of people out here giving access to retail investors and just the lay person to stuff like this. Like,
Neo
who
is
would have
my
thought?
answer to what is broken about the current film studio, and allows people to both be a part of it from the creative all the way to the financials. Like, there's a lot of opportunity to make a lot of money in movies. I think it's fair that the people who are the ones that are helping to create these movies to be a part of it get to share in that revenue. Because you are helping us to make that film, you get to receive the potential of making pretty good profit on a film, as you can
Yeah.
see just from the last couple movies that came out. So we can churn those out and make that 15-20% return on investment fairly regularly. That $2 million budget could very easily have the potential to make $20 million in the first weekend. Profit
Yeah.
potential, I would say, is about 300 to 500 million is like the best you could probably get on an indie, and lowest level you're getting about 10 to 15% return on your investment. So the way that I kind of explain it is, it's like a cake. The bottom layer is what are called our founder passes. Founder passes are essentially a piece of the whole system. You almost are like a shareholder for the company. By owning that NFT, you are entitled to revenue from everything that we have. Each film that we create, we will have a specific NFT series that will be associated with that film. For those who are more about the financials, you are entitled to a higher amount of revenue from that specific film than the founders. The founders are entitled to basically a 20% of that pie, and a Genesis holder is entitled to 30% of that pie, up to 50%. I want
Okay.
to be producing 5 to 6 $4 million films a year. I plan on, just taking this next film, selling it for a profit, flipping that into another film, and just, all throughout the year, we're producing content and then either selling it to streaming or putting it at a theatrical release. There's a lot of opportunity coming in now early, that once the engine really starts going, you don't have to keep reinvesting in this company. For one, it will literally be a perpetual machine for you to create, like you said, generational wealth for your children. Because like I said, I have every intention of this company going until I'm in my 80s or 90s, and then handing it off to my children to run.
In order to comply with United States-based FTC laws, I'm announcing that this is a paid AMA. This was paid via a stablecoin cryptocurrency, and this video should not be construed as, nor am I representing or marketing it as, an advertisement or endorsement for the client or company in the video. Drew Wolfer has not received any native tokens, NFTs, or financial instruments tied to this company. Drew Wolfer has no ownership stake, equity, or investment in this company at the time of filming. This is not financial advice, nor an endorsement or advertisement for investment in the business in this video. We can provide referral links at our own discretion, but are not required to. This is a pre-recorded disclaimer, and if anything is not factual or has changed from this pre-recorded disclaimer, it will be addressed in the video. The full disclaimer is in the description box of this video, so please do your own research and make your own informed decision.
Welcome back to the Drew Wolfer YouTube channel. We have a very special AMA for you today. And would you like to own a piece of Hollywood is going to be the topic of this video. I'm here with Aaron Markham. He's obviously a very special person. We're going to go ahead and talk about his project, which is called Neo Films, and we will screen share, show you all the nitty gritty. He's going to answer all the good questions, all the tough questions, and we're going to give you this opportunity on a silver platter. So, Aaron, go ahead and kind of give everybody a brief overview of who you are, what you do, what motivates you, all those types of things. Like, who is Aaron?
Yeah, no, so I am, as you said, the founder of Neo Masterpiece Films. I've been in the film industry since I was 21, which is almost 20 years now at this point, mostly in the indie scene. I did a little bit of stuff on the studio side, but I grew up as that kid who just had a really overactive imagination, and it was a natural fit for me to get into filmmaking because it allowed me to turn what was in my head into reality. And, I just got lucky, unlike a lot of people in the industry, and managed to make a living out of it. And as I've gone through, and lived most of my life working in the industry, I realized there's a lot of issues. And I decided that there is a better way. And with the whole the strike now with the writers and the actors, that it's even that much more evident now that there is a better way, and I started Neo to create that better way and to move it away from the current system and into one that allows us to actually make good movies instead of Fast and the Furious 25 or let's reboot Harry Potter after 5 years. Like that, I could go on for hours for that, but yeah. No, Neo is my answer to what is broken about the current film studio, and allows people to both be a part of it from the creative all the way to the financials. Like there's a lot of opportunity to make a lot of money in movies, and I think it's fair that the people who are the ones that are helping to create these movies to be a part of it get to share in that revenue.
Absolutely. Yeah, and just to kind of give you a little plug, if you guys want to, guys and gals, right? If you want to read a little bit more about kind of how this got sparked, other than obviously listening to Aaron, he has a very good story right here, and it's right on the homepage. You just scroll down right here, the Neo Film story, and actually, it's a very riveting story. To be honest with you, it really captures exactly what it is that they're trying to do here, and it kind of resonated with me whenever I was going through it on the website and understanding like how the layers inside of the film industry are and how that can bar good and talented people out of the film industry and also bar retail investors and the lay person, the regular person from being able to benefit from a financial perspective, at least from the film industry itself, because it's kind of a, as they like to say, a boys club, right? And if
Yep,
you're
it
not a
is
part of the
definitely a good
club,
old boys club.
Yeah, and if you're not a part of it, it's kind of hard to become a part of it. Now, the first question that I think pretty much everybody asks, and I'm going to go ahead and answer this for him, is your team doxxed? You see him on screen. He's right here. Go to the website. You can check it out. Meet our team. Everyone here is absolutely 100% doxxed. Everybody is out here available for the public to see, and you can go and check out their details. I know Aaron's link goes to IMDb, which is pretty cool. I don't know. That's a pretty cool flex. I don't know anybody else that's on IMDb. So that's a first for me. But I just wanted to kind of let everybody know that everyone is doxxed in this project and protocol, and that is not something that anybody needs to worry about. So if we were to give somebody just like a 30-second to 1 minute pitch, right? What is your elevator pitch of this business, right? And we kind of touched on it a little bit, but let's beat it into the ground, like for everyone.
Okay. The film industry is broken. It's been
Yep.
broken for a long time, and as we said, it's a good old boys club, and that creates a bubble where films are made in a bubble where people don't get to experience that film until the filmmakers decide, okay, I'm ready to show you behind the scenes. And that what that does is it alienates your audience, for one, and for two, it causes you to spend a lot of money on shots that you may not actually work because you're not audience testing your product like every other industry does. They audience test their project all the way through the process. So in order to make quality films, in order to make riskier films that aren't just another rehash of an IP or a remake or a sequel, you have to let the people in. And that's what I do. I let the people in from and see all the warts, see all the good and the bad, but see the process from beginning to end and be a part of it, both creatively and financially. You get to help make decisions on what movies we make, what actors we choose, what set pieces we go with. You get to see the script in its rawest form and its finalized form. You get to kind of be on like this adventure of how it is to make a movie from beginning to end and see how that goes. And as well, because you are helping us to make that film, you get to receive the potential of making pretty good profit on a film, as you can see just from the last couple movies that came out. The potential to make a lot of money in a small amount of time is there, but right now it's a good old boys club. All that money goes to the top 1%, and even the creatives who make the movies barely get a piece of that pie. And that's what needs to be changed, is the pie needs to be shared with everyone, including the people who are your biggest fans, because now they're going to be incentivized to go and share your trailer, tell people about the movie. And the hardest thing any product can get is word of mouth marketing. And I've built that into the whole process. It's an ecosystem where everybody wins at the same time. And now you have an army of word of mouth marketers that are there to tout your product and give it the best chance of being successful against these other films who, have a $150-200 million budget, but they don't have that army of true fans that are there to back it and push it and make it the success that it potentially can be.
And if they do have an army, it's because they've paid tremendous millions and millions of dollars to make an army, right? Through the media, because we know media is not cheap. We know that for a fact. So if you want to be at the top of the media's list, you're going to have to donate or pay them a lot of money in order to be there. So let's talk about those other projects though, right? Because you already have one, I know for a fact, I'm pretty sure you already have one movie that has already been written and it was filmed and it was, I believe the rights were sold to it already. Was it something like that? Can we talk about that and kind of give people almost like an insider's view of what does a return on a money or from a monetary perspective on a movie like this look like, right?
So it can vary quite a bit based on the budget that you achieve. So Netflix, Hulu, Amazon are constantly needing new fodder. They need new stuff to give to their audiences. So the hardest part used to be actually distribution back in the day, but now with all of these different streamers and different platforms, that has become the easier part of it, because you have so many different platforms vying for new stuff to give to their audience. So something that's less than $1 million, it's a much easier sell, but you're not going to make a huge return on your investment. You're probably looking at, maybe like 15 or 20% above what your budget is. But if you're able
That's not bad, man. That's good returns.
It's not
in traditional
bad.
finance.
And again, we have the connections of those people, so we can churn those out and make that 15-20% return on our investment fairly regularly. But once you get to that point where you can, it's about $1 million and above, because once you have to have enough budget to market your film to be able to do theatrical. And a lot of times that budget has to be almost equal to what you spent on the movie. You spent $2 million to make a movie, you probably need about $2 million to market it. But once you get it theatrical, then it becomes almost exponential. That $2 million budget could very easily have the potential to make $20 million in the first weekend. And if it catches fire, then you're looking at 150-200 million, up to I wouldn't go past probably 300 or 400 million, where unless you really catch that golden ticket, and then you can get up to a billion, but that doesn't happen very often. So the profit potential, I would say, is about 300 to 500 million is like the best you could probably get on an indie, and lowest level you're getting about 10 to 15% return on your investment.
Man, that's actually a really good percentage base to be kind of like sitting at. Like, hey, bare minimum, we can probably make 15 to 20% on this. That's actually pretty darn good, especially considering like trade FIs averaging like 5%, especially accounting for inflation. So what would the biggest risks of something like this be?
The biggest risks is always with any film, it's a flop. And
Yep.
that is something that, like I said, I built into this whole model, because a lot of times the flop comes because you made it in a bubble. You didn't
Yep.
audience test. You didn't see, you made Harry Potter, but you didn't check with the people who read Harry Potter to make sure that they would even like your idea. Instead, you made the movie, and then a year later when it's edited, you go, hey, I made Harry Potter, check out this trailer. And
Yep.
that's why a lot of these like big budget things flop. And the other reason is they don't care about quality movies. They care about their the most return on investment that they could possibly get. And the good old boys own every level of the distribution process. So even if creators like us lose money, they still make money because they own the theaters, they own a piece of the streaming platforms, they own a part of the unions for the people that are being hired to work on the film. So they're making money coming and going. So they
Yeah,
don't care
that
if it
goes
flops.
deep. Yeah.
They don't. That's the biggest risk you're looking at with any film, is that it could flop. But the other side is, with the way that we've built it, we're using the A24 and Blumhouse model, and it's
Okay.
been proven many times over that if you stay within a certain budget, and you have that budget enough to be able to either sell it to streaming under $1 million, if you're planning to sell to streaming, or if you're doing theatrical about $4 million, you can usually at least get a return on investment. But the likelihood is always much higher to actually, like I said, you're going to make a percentage, probably 15 to 20%, if you sell it to streamers. And if you go to the theatrical route, you're probably looking at a minimum 2x.
Absolutely. It's not bad at all. That's like degen crypto returns, except for in a real business model, and that's one of the things I do like about your model, is that it's a real business. Like, we've created real businesses before, obviously Wolfer and PreSend and all that good stuff, but I tend to lean more towards less, we won't say non-speculative, but we'll say less speculative and more risk averse investments, where it's like, hey, could this potentially not work out? Yes. But is it actually the fault of faulty mathematics or faulty economics? Absolutely not. So I would like to take my best shot whenever I'm putting my money in different streams of income and whatever it may be, right? So let's talk about those streams of income, actually, because I know that's, we're a few minutes into this, and I know people are probably like, yeah, this is all sounds wonderful, but how does somebody get in if they actually want to get in, right? Because I know there's like a few different ways, and I kind of want you to go over that and let people understand. I'm going to screen share and show everybody as well while you're doing it, but I kind of want people to understand, here's how you get in, here's what that means for you, and kind of like the piece that you would see or potentially own of that pie by doing this, right?
Right. So the way that I kind of explain it is, it's like a cake.
Hmm.
The bottom layer is what are called our founder passes.
Hmm.
And the founder passes are essentially a piece of the whole system. You almost are like a shareholder for the company. And by owning that NFT, you are entitled to revenue from everything that we have, whether it is, we also will do production services for other projects in the real world and in crypto, and animations or hype videos or explainer videos, things like that. And so that's a revenue stream that we have that is always going and is always growing, and you get a piece of that percentage from what we are selling with that. But you also get a percentage of every film that we make, every TV show that we make. You are entitled to a percentage of revenue from that. So that's like the bottom layer. You are basically like a shareholder of the company. And with that, you will also get be entitled to business making decisions for what we do. I kind of think of it like democratic filmmaking. You will vote on, choices that we make on the next mint, or hey, we're looking to acquire a property. Would you be willing to vote to decide if we should put some of the money in the treasury towards acquiring this property?
Yeah.
And that is it's a bigger investment, but you're riding with us until the company, you know, if I have my way, this company will go for 100 years. And
Yep.
if you hold the
Yeah.
NFT, you are part of that company for 100 years. You can
Yep.
pass it down to your
That's
kids
what
if
we
you
want. Pass it down to your kids. That's what
want.
we always say. Generational wealth, pass it down to the kids. Develop assets and also wealth that you can then pass on to the next generation, because that is, you know, one of the best things that you can do for your family, other than obviously spending the inherent time that it takes to build those relationships with your family on your way there. But as what I'm seeing, the Diamond Founder Pass costs $35,000. There's only 25 of them available. There's a platinum level pass that is $5,000. There's only 125 of these available. And then there's a gold pass that is $500, and there's 1,000 of those available. And if you want to talk to the team or get anything, get any of those types of passes, what you will have to do is go in there and actually go into the Discord, which the Discord link is literally right here, and it'll pop up their Discord. Go into their Discord, create a ticket, and if it's something that you're looking into, boom, accept the invite. Bam, there's already 6,000 members in here. This is not a small community, by the way. I wanted to point this out. I was going to tell you, hey, where do you find your socials? But I'm just going to pop it up on them anyways. And they've got 25,000 Twitter followers. So when he's sitting here talking about having an actual community, like they already have it, okay? And it's here, and this is how you go out and you bring things to market through these types of communities. So anyways, going back to what we were just talking about, if you go to the founders NFTs, you will see the prices, tiers, and how you can get in on that.
Yeah,
and then there's a second level of NFT, right?
Right. That's what I was about to get to. So then we have, well, for this first one, it's the Genesis NFT. But for each film that we create, we will have a specific NFT series that will be associated with that film. And what that is it's only for that film. So you get, for those who are more about the financials, you are entitled to a higher amount of revenue from that specific film than the founders. The founders are entitled to basically a 20% of that pie, and a Genesis holder is entitled to 30% of that pie, up to 50%. So one of the biggest things that I did was with these NFTs is I'm in the US and I run a US company. So a security is a very, very important thing that I do not want my company to be, because that essentially alienates most regular investors. I wanted everyone to have access to this. So I built an ecosystem where a security basis level is you give me money, I will give you more money back. And the way to avoid that is to basically build in a way that your investors can be a part of that process, do things to help in the success of your product. Therefore, you are now earning more of a commission check than you are a security, just a return on investment. So we built it in that you can do, we have a token, and it's a liquidity-less token called Neobucks. It's like Pepsi points if you're my age or a little bit older, where it has no value outside of Neo, but within Neo, you can earn Neobucks from sharing a Twitter post, giving business advice, voting on decisions for the company, sharing the trailer, or renting the film, or I do some fun stuff. If it's your birthday, I give you some Neobucks. If you play the games in our Discord, you get Neobucks. But you can take those Neobucks and you can either spend them on swag, like T-shirts, hats, autographs from the lead actor of the film, all expense paid trip to be on set, or you can save up those Neobucks and upgrade that 30% return NFT to a 50% return NFT. So you are doing all of these actions to earn Neobucks, to earn a bigger slice of the pie. And by doing those actions, you are giving the product that we've created a better chance of being more successful, because you are supporting it, and a large amount of people are supporting it and being incentivized by it. So you are then making 50% of a bigger piece of pie. So it's built into the ecosystem that everybody works together, everybody's incentivized, and the product can have a higher level of success. You're not just going, man, I invested in this movie, I hope it does good. You are literally, it's up to you for it to have its best shot.
Okay. Yeah. So that kind of also explains a couple of my questions, which was, how does the team make money? Because we want the team to obviously be able to make money. Otherwise, they can't support their families, and what makes them want to run a successful business and a legitimate business, right? So we understand how the team makes money because, you're paying out essentially up to 50% and certain portions of the, proceeds that come from doing all of these movies after you've paid all the actors and the screenwriters and all of these things, right? So that's how the team makes their money. And then the second thing that I was wondering about is, how do your customers and or your investors make any money, and what is the structure of that? And that pretty well explains that. One thing I did want to ask, and this is kind of an important question for most people. It might not be as important in this one, but it definitely could be in the future. Do you have any notable partnerships or any notable like proof of concept, proof of business model that people can kind of rely on to see, like, hey, these guys are doing exactly what they said that they're doing, and they will continue to do those things?
So we have a couple in the hopper right now, but that's actually one of the things that I did before I even started this. Was I wanted to prove that I wasn't just blowing smoke, that
Yep.
I can make a film, and I can make it on a relatively minuscule budget and still make a
Yeah.
profit on it.
Yep.
So before we even started the crypto side of the business, we produced a film called Burden of Guilt. And Burden of Guilt was literally done on $15,000. It's a one-room drama. It's kind of, I would say, a Twilight Zone type of movie.
Okay.
And it's, the budget was small, not a lot of well-known actors, not a lot of set pieces. But that was the point. The point was to show you that I can make a film that is sellable. Yeah, Burden of
Yep.
Guilt. And that room is literally where the whole movie takes place. So, um, but we
And
took
how
that
did that
film.
movie do?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. We had no intention of it being, a media darling. Like it literally
Yep.
is just meant to show you that we can make a movie with no low budget and sell it.
Yep.
So we
MVP,
ended
proof
up
of concept.
exactly. So we took that film and we sold it for 300,000
Wow.
and
And then what was the budget on it?
15,000.
Woo! So 20x the budget. Man, that's insanity. That's just wild. I wish I could do stuff like that on a daily basis.
Well,
That
that's a
is
year turnaround.
wonderful,
It's not
man.
a DJ,
Yeah.
and DJ like quick returns films are not. You're
Yeah.
looking at a
Yeah.
year minimum, but
But
it is
but
possible.
take that and elevate it, right? Take that to scale and say, okay, our budget isn't 15,000. Now it's 1.5 million, right? And we sold this for 30 million, right? The rights to it or something like that. That's where you get into the larger sums of money, which with these NFTs and the funding that you're trying to raise in the couple of $1 million range, that gives you a pretty big budget to go out and get into those upper echelons, which is what you were talking about previously in this video, where you could have one of those theatrical type ones that could bring a really good return to not only your company and yourself, giving you even further proof of concept, but also to the people that helped fund it along the way. And I don't see a lot of people out here giving access to retail investors and just the lay person to stuff like this. Like, who would have thought that, randomly on a Tuesday, and they'll be watching it on Thursday, that you were going to be able to go and get into films, right? Without actually having to own a camera, right? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like I said, the thing about it is it's a good old boys thing. Like
Yep.
the only way that I'm able to do this is I've been doing this for 20 years pretty much, and I've made the connections with the people that you have to make connections with in order to make a $15,000 film and sell it for 300,000. A lot of the
Yeah.
dudes who do that are independent filmmakers who, I spent the money, my grandpa's gave me $50,000 to make a movie. I made a cool movie. What do I do with it? I'm gonna go rent a theater and show it to my friends, and then that's as far as it goes. You have to know the people within the chain in order to take it and sell it. And I'll be honest, like I don't think that Burden of Guilt is, it's not Oscar worthy. It's a workhorse. It's there to make money. It's not the best film in the world, but it is a good enough film that it can turn a profit as it did, and that was the whole point. And you then get into a different level. Highly recommend if anybody's considering getting into Neo, look at A24 and look at Blumhouse. Their method is proven for, I believe, over 20 years now of how that works. And what they do is they set their budget at about $4 million. They don't go over $4 million. And that $4 million is advertising, production, pre-production. It's all in that $4 million. Because with that $4 million, and they don't go traditional marketing routes. They will do things like go with influencers or do TikTok viral campaigns, things like that. And it just, you may not hit all the time, but you're going to hit more than you miss. And at least you're going to get a return on investment on your $4 million.
Definitely. So let's talk roadmap, right? Because so we're talking about like raising funds and things of that sort. Where are those funds? I mean, I think everybody understands where those funds want to go, right? But if you were to put kind of like almost like a roadmap on it, and I know you have a little bit of a roadmap on the website. How much, if you were to sell this thing out, right, and you had a few $1 million in the bank and you were like, hey, this is what we're going to do, what would that choice be? Just barring selling this whole thing out and all the NFTs have been minted and everything is perfect the way that you want it in a perfect world, where do you see that going, right?
I literally have set it out to be, I want to be the Web3 A24. I want
Okay.
to be producing 5 to 6 $4 million films a year. And just I need to start getting that engine running. I'm starting the engine right now, and we did the first one as proof of concept. This next one is currently in pre-production, and I plan on, just taking this next film, selling it for a profit, flipping that into another film until I'm at the point that I'm making 4 or 5 films a year. And just, all throughout the year, we're producing content and then either selling it to streaming or putting it at a theatrical release. And that's where I see, that's the long-term vision of this company. I don't want to be a Paramount. I don't want to be a Disney. I don't want to make $150 million budget films. I don't. The best movies I've ever seen are usually done on a low budget because they are required to make a good movie instead of Transformers, where,
Yeah, and it takes like 5 years for them to make them. I mean, like all the Fast and Furious films, they all take like 3-4 years to come out now. It's crazy
Yeah.
because of how long that and arduous that process is. So keeping it small, keeping it consistent, keeping it lean, as I would like to call it, man, it makes you nimble. It makes you, I go back to the Troy movie, right? I always talk about Troy because Achilles is my guy. And I always talk about how I would much rather be Achilles in that first scene than that big, massive ogre dude.
True.
I would rather be nimble in the markets than be the big 100, 500-pound gorilla behemoth giant that says I rule everything, and then I still get taken down by little tiny Achilles, right? So
And
yeah, I
Web3
100%,
NFTs is that opportunity because
100%, man.
the big boys are too big to be, especially in this space. They're too big to move in this space. And they don't understand. Like if you look, there's a couple times that they try and like get into Web3, but they're doing it all wrong. Hey, the Flash flopped in theaters. So what did they do? They pivoted and turned it into an NFT. They don't get the space and they don't get what the space can actually be. Because NFTs, beyond all the other NFTs, is community. That's what NFTs is. It's building a group of people, like-minded people, that have a goal and a vision and do it together. And that is the antithesis of what Disney, Paramount, Fox is. Fox is, I'm the big boy, I'm Goliath. You have to do what I say because I'm bigger than you. And if you don't, I'm going to spend a lot more money than you have to make you do what I want. But they can't do that in this space. They can't.
Yeah. Yep. So then do you feel like there's anything that you feel people need to absolutely know about this, right? Anything that we have not covered that is just like, hey, this is only in my head. There's no way that anybody else could know this. Do you have a golden nugget for people about something like this?
The next film that we're doing, it's an opportunity because of SAG and because of all the strikes. The big boys can't do anything for a while. So it's going to give a golden opportunity for indie studios. Like, this is literally a perfect storm, is what I've said, for us, because we can still make movies because we put together an interim agreement with the guilds, so we can work. So we can get bigger name actors that are willing to do it for a lower budget because they can't work on the big budget stuff right now, and they still want to work.
Might as well. Yeah, they still want to make money. You know, even if
Exactly.
it's less money, it's better than nothing.
The big boys can't make movies right now, and they are going to be stuck not making movies for probably 9 months to a year. That's how long I see this strike going. So that leaves us a golden opportunity to produce this stuff and sell it at a premium because they're not buying the bigger stuff. And then the other thing is the film, I can't say what it is, but the film that we're doing is a big IP that just went into public domain. It's very well known. If I said it, you would know what it is. But now that that has happened, we're capitalizing on that. And once this NFT collection mints out, we are connecting 2 films to this mint. The one that we're already doing called Inherited Sin, and then this other one, I'm going to call it Project 6. Project 6, once I'm able to reveal, you'll be like, oh, wow. Like, there's a lot of potential behind it. And I feel like now is the time to capitalize on that, because if we do it now, we do it before the strike ends, we are literally in that perfect storm, that golden zone, with the opportunity to make Neo, put Neo and Web3 in a film 3, as we call it, on the map. Because
Definitely.
it doesn't matter how the film was made. Once they go back and they see, oh, wow, this was done with NFT investors. Interesting. Now you're going to have a bunch of fresh faces who know nothing about Web3, who know nothing about NFTs, who are going to get curious and come into the market. And now they're going to start thinking of NFTs as entertainment, an entertainment medium, kind of like how Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon and Magic, like, if NFTs fail in all of their regard and all of their respect, they will flourish in entertainment because it's just a natural progression of what's already being done. You're going to have to stop calling it NFTs. You have to go, like, NFTs has kind of a stigma to it. They're digital collectibles. You're buying a comic book, but you're buying a digital version of it. You're buying a Pikachu card, but you're buying a digital version of it. Now that has like cool kind of utilities. Like, oh wait, if I get this one, I get to be in the film. That's really cool. So that will continue. If it fails in every other regard of NFTs, it will become a medium for entertainment because it just works.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I did want to point out, you guys are already over 50% allocated on your mint. There's 57% minted out already. There's 3,333, and there's already over 1,900 that have been minted. That's just for the base level ones. I have absolutely no idea where you are on the founders ones, but I assume it's probably close to the same. So, you know, if people are wanting to get in, I would say now is the time, you know, because that's the thing with these movies. Once you start making them, you're probably going to shut that off because, you know, the people that are already in are the ones that funded those movies, correct?
Right.
Absolutely.
And, you know, the thing is, once we make that one win, we don't need to fund films with NFTs anymore. I'm really just creating it as a way for you to be a part of the experience. So I don't need to offer you 50% return on revenue after this first film, because the fuel is in the engine now. So there's a lot of opportunity coming in now early, that once the engine really starts going, you don't have to keep reinvesting in this company. For one, it will literally be a perpetual machine for you to create, like you said, generational wealth for your children. Because like I said, I have every intention of this company going until I'm in my 80s or 90s, and then handing it off to my children to run. So I do intend for it to be a generational thing. But the other thing with you said, with what we've minted, that's no marketing. I don't want marketing for this, because if you come into this looking for a Degen quick flip, you're barking up the wrong tree. I need people who are actually in this to build what I'm doing, because you're riding with me for a minimum of a year, minimum. And I don't want you to come in looking, hey man, I'm going to make a lot of money. because guess what, dude? Like, you're gonna get bored like 4 months in. You need to come
Yeah,
into this.
couple of weeks.
Yeah, you need to come into this thinking of this as a long-term investment that you are going to hold for the next 15 or 20 years. But the upside potential is so much greater than the downside. Even if this doesn't do as well as it does, it's still one of the first film production companies in Web3.
Yep. Yep, that is for sure. Well, you heard it here first, everyone. Don't miss out on the ride. The fuel is in the engine right now. And once that engine starts, it doesn't stop. And I guess apparently we're kind of like a Tesla. It doesn't need new fuel, right? So, with that being said, is there anything else that you want to cover before we let everybody get back to their days? Or did we get everything that you think is pertinent?
I feel like we got a lot. Once you come in and you mint, there are some surprises that
Okay.
I don't advertise. You have opportunities for making money outside of the movies, but you know, come in and you will know nothing about that until you mint. I will let you know that I don't publicize it.
Sounds good.
But I built this. I got into this. My son actually said, "This is my midlife crisis." he said, he said like
That's a good midlife crisis to have, man. A lot of people could have a way worse reaction.
like, I've been doing this for most of my life, and he's like, "Oh, well, now you're just gonna all of a sudden change it." And the
Yeah.
thing is, it needs to change. If you think I'll stop preaching on this after this, suppose we got to go. Think of it as any other VC. Would a VC take $150 million and throw it at one potential, you know, product? No.
Not a chance.
They're going to take that and they're going to split that $150 million into 10 or 15 different products, because one is going to hit more than the others and probably get your return on investment, if not profit. That's what's broken in the system. $150 million for a film, and it's got to be a home run or you lost money. That does not work, and it should not work that way. Build it the way that I am putting forward. Take $40 million and make 10 $4 million movies. One of those is probably going to make you your money back, if not profit. So it just makes sense, and that's the way it needs to go. And this is the formula. I fully believe this is the formula that will change that system.
Definitely. Beautiful. I love it, man. I love real revenue. I love real businesses. I come from traditional businesses. I created a lot of businesses before I ever came into crypto and created businesses inside of here. And I think that there's such an opportunity inside of crypto to bring the real world into and onto the blockchain through Web3. So, with that said, make sure that you smash the like button. Obviously, subscribe to the channel. Boom, bang on the notification bell. Comment any questions or concerns that you have in the comments section. We will surely relay them to the team. Obviously, go and make sure that you're following my socials. Follow Neo's socials. We popped those up on the screen earlier. You can follow them on Twitter, Discord. Go to their website, check everything out, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks for showing up, everybody, and thank you so much, Aaron, for coming and explaining everything to everyone. I know that they truly appreciated it.
Yeah, I had a great time.